Okay, hello everybody, and welcome to our session for today. I am joined here today by some really incredible guests. I'll be talking to Devin Marty from Sound, co-founder with DJ Kaku, who's also founder of Sound. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and invite Devin up and we can kick off the session today.
Rachel, how are you?
Hey, doing really great, man. So a lot of planning and conversations have gone into this session today. I'm really excited to see the Sound community get so involved with the University of Ethereum, and just so many people showing up to support, coming in and saying hi in the Discord, and also commenting on Twitter as well.
Yeah, I know a few people are early to class, so shout out Mike, shout out Santa-san, shout out a few of you guys who I saw were joining in.
Yeah, absolutely. Devin, I'm really excited to dive into the workshop today. Sound has been working on some really amazing things. And at the University of Ethereum, we really like to showcase projects, individuals, experts, and celebrities who have an interest in leveraging blockchain technology for real-world use cases. And we want to encourage our members to start thinking of doing the same. So we really believe in the philosophy of learn by doing. So anyone joining in today to listen, we really want to encourage you to take what you've learned here today and think of how you can apply it to solve real world problems using blockchain technology. Without further ado, Devin, do you want to kick us off with the introductions?
Sure. Yeah. Do we have Kaku here as well?
Yeah, let's bring Kaku up as well.
There we go. Mr. Kaku, what's going on?
Hey, what's up? How are you?
Sweet. So I think you guys can see my presentation slides, maybe. Rachel, I don't know if that's.
You're going to have to. Yep, there we go.
Awesome. You rock. Thanks for helping us with this. My name is Devin Marty. Nice to meet you guys. I'm one of the co-founders of Sound here with Kaku. My background is in decentralized network architecture design. I got into the space, as we all love to learn about each other. I got into the space back in 2019. I wrote a book on decentralized organizations. My education's in engineering, but wrote this. Was running into a lot of people who were talking about decentralization as like this great awakening. And I was like, okay. So COVID hits, we're all inside, and I thought it was just time to go and learn about it. I got online, met some great people who, Clubhouse days, if you guys remember. And I got hooked up with a few guys who were building this project called Wise, right? And it was a fully decentralized asset-backed protocol backed by Ethereum. And just a lot of cool experiments into decentralization, like no team tokens, right? Launched this protocol that ran itself and still is running itself. And it became the largest token liquidity pair on Uniswap. So from that point, we all kind of split off and went different ways. I actually went to a protocol called Harmony. That's where I actually met Rachel, and we worked on the same team together, working on several things, but mostly DAO tools. So different tools that allow for decentralized organizations to help run. And from there, in August of 2022, left to work with Kaku and the rest of the team on Sound. So that's my background in a nutshell. And Kaku, I'll pass it to you.
Thanks, Devin. Hi, everyone. My name is Kaku. I am a DJ and producer by trade, but I am also the co-founder of Sound. So besides music, this is what I do full time. And Sound was established in early 2021. I actually conceptualized it and brought my partner David Long, who is the chief engineer of Beats by Dre. So he pretty much made the entire product line, and he was a longtime friend of mine. So him and I sort of started this together alongside Brian, formerly known as I'm Complex, who actually designed what I'm wearing right now. Yeah. So I guess we'll kind of dive deeper into Sun a little bit. So yeah, just a super brief introduction. Yep.
Yeah, and something I would love to just preface before diving in. I have known Devin for a while. He really has been a pivotal part of my Web3 and blockchain journey. He's definitely an expert I encourage everyone here to connect with. I believe Devin is in our Discord as well. He's also wrote this book, The Decision-Making Employee, which talks about, I know it's right on my desk, Devin, how you succeed in decentralized organizations. So yeah, Devin is a really amazing expert to connect with in the space. And it's just been a pleasure knowing him and working with him on things in blockchain. So without further ado, we can pass it off to Devin to continue on the presentation.
Sweet. Yeah, so we're here to talk about music today, right? And how basically what music drives us is the main part. We have to get that out of the way. I know we all know it. We all listen to music, I'm sure. But just to kind of back that up a little bit, I think it's something like 33% of all people listen to music to concentrate, right? You've got 37% of people use it to process some kind of state of emotion, usually sadness. These are all studies being pulled from. 82% of people use it to feel happy, and 90% of people are listening to music to relax. So this is 90% of people using this thing to do something, right? That is considerable. And also at the same time, there are studies that show that between 10 minutes and 30 minutes of listening to music is having actually substantial physiological responses on you, right? It is changing your sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems or aspects of them to go into this variable state, right? You have your body's just better, right? Because of it. And we understand that. I think we all listen to it. We all have a Spotify or a Tidal or an Apple Music or Bandcamp, something, right? Because it is essential almost in our daily lives. So I just want to state that, yes, this is obvious, but we need to state that it is important. So the music industry, when we dive into that, and in its current state, you think about Web 2 and you think about Web 3, and I'm sure you're all here and you think those are two separate things, very much so, right? One is a hyper-centralized, gate-kept thing, and the other is like a more free. That's the idea I believe most of us probably have about Web 2 and Web 3. If you think about Web 2 and what your idea and concept of it is in comparison to Web 3, the music industry is very likely the epitome of it, like the far, far side, right? It is, you have labels, streaming services and their algorithms, venue owners, media, awards committees, talent agents, A&Rs, promoters, a lot of people who are gatekeepers in this space and who really make it difficult to do these three things. One, distribute music. So as an artist, it's very, very, very hard to distribute music and get your value out of that. As a listener, it is difficult and it takes effort to support music. And lastly, it's hard as an artist to connect with your fans, right? So what we're going to do today is I'm going to pass it to Kaku. Kaku is going to give us he is a very high level performing artist for the past, 12 years, Kaku, on an international level. So hearing stories from him, might be a good way to kick it off. We'll focus on each one of these and then kind of break into a really quick discussion about how Web3 might actually solve or begin to remedy some of these issues. So Kaku, I'll pass it to you for talking about value and balance.
Yeah, sure. So Devin, thanks for the intro. So, I've been a professional touring artist for the past 12 years now, mainly in Asia, but I played in Europe many times and toured America as well. So for us right now, I'm not just a DJ. Obviously, I make music, and in order for us to kind of reach that next level, you have to release music, like a singer. The DJ industry has really climbed up the past decade, and we're real artists now too, and we're not just like up there just playing music, I guess. But yeah, I think Devin was talking about kind of how we basically, it's really hard for us to earn money just based off of stream. So back in the days, you can just pretty much release a record, right? Like people will buy your CDs or whatever, and you can make good money off of it, but it's not like that anymore. It's all these streaming services. In order for you to really earn money, let's just put it this way. So for every million streams, an artist will probably make around $4,000. That's pretty much all that you would make. So imagine like someone like me who has like around a million streams, for a song or something like that. So we don't make any money off of music anymore. And we basically make money on shows. That's essentially how we make money, right? But it's kind of a double-edged sword where if you do not release music, people do not notice you. So then you also don't have the statistics, so you can't get the shows that you want. So it's a very, very hard industry to be in, and so it is definitely imbalanced in that sense, right? And so I think that is a huge area that needs to be figured out, and I think this is why I kind of wanted to hop into Web3. And I think can you go to number 2, please, Devin?
Oh, well, yeah. Do you want to pause real quick and we'll jump into that real
Yeah,
quick.
go ahead.
Take a break. So quick discussion point. Thank you, Kaku. What you just said, right? The equivalency of 1 million streams. If you take it now into a Web3 environment where we have direct to creator payments, right? Payment rails, using this service that used to cost, mostly gaming companies, millions and millions and millions, hundreds of millions of dollars to create these payment rails, are now like free, not free, but like right there, readily accessible. So that is the first part about Web 2 that Kaku just described that really could use some kind of some significant changes, right? When you only have $4,000 going to you, when equivalently you could have 38 tracks sell at the price of 0.05 ETH. What is that? Right now it's $110. So finding 38 people spend $110 on your track or your album versus having that track or album stream 1 million times, right? That's drastic. We had, I think Snoop Dogg had an interview the other day where he asked his agent, hey, how much did I make off my billion streams, or something like 40K or something like that. Like that's an issue. These streaming services aren't even doing well themselves, right? So the whole thing is, it needs a little bit of an upgrade. And the big thing here is, right, don't build your trading route on another country's plot of land, right? Don't cut through their country, especially if they're obsessed with gold, because you're going to get taxed and taxed and taxed. So that is definitely one thing to consider, and something I want to lead off or finish off this point with, and maybe lead into Kaku's next story, is royalties, right? And royalties being this great idea of what Web3, oh, wow, I can trade every time a track is traded, I'll get a cut of that. That's amazing for artists, that not even just music artists, like great for all artists. But we've started to realize that that's not actually reality, right? You have services, these marketplaces are no longer enforcing it. It was always a handshake deal. And even if it was enforced across the board, I can always send you a track for free, as if I were transferring it to another wallet. And then you could just over the counter me some ETH, right? It's not enforceable. So royalties, when people mention that, always be a little wary, but also think that that might be some kind of opportunity to see if decentralized enforceable royalty standard, could be a thing. So Kaku, I'm going to pass it to you for part 2, talking about the listener side.
Right. And there is also a huge disconnect when it comes to the music industry nowadays. And I think, okay, so look, back in the day, like you could buy a CD, you have a physical version of a song, right, that you can kind of show off. Nowadays, everything is digital. So how can you really show support for I would say, the artist that you like? I mean, yeah, maybe you can go on their social media, leave a comment or whatever, but there's still a huge disconnect, right? And yeah, and this is a huge issue for us as well, because it's like, we want to engage with the fans more, but there's just really is not a way to do that on a music platforms, really. There's only SoundCloud where you can leave a comment or whatever, but that's pretty much the same thing as Instagram, right? Or maybe shooting a tweet to your favorite artist or whatever. So there isn't really like anything except for Web3 where you can really like show support. And I think that's why I personally, for me, I wanted to enter Web3. There was just so much like going on during the last bull run in 2021. And the reason that I entered the space was actually because of the founders of Origin Protocol. They actually escaped COVID and came to Taiwan, and we met through mutual friends. And they were like, "Hey, there's this thing. I don't know if you know about it, but NFTs. It's like really getting popular right now. We're about to do this Blau drop. So the drop of Blau that actually did a record sale of like over $10 million. So I knew this was going to happen 2 months before it was about to happen. And so they're like, to just watch what's going to happen. And I was just blown away by like how much support that Blau got from his fan base. And he basically sold an album for $10 million. It was insane. Like it just blew my mind. And I think that's kind of like when I started really taking Web3, and a blockchain serious, because I understood like the technology behind it. And yeah, so it was just like a really like amazing run, I think. And everyone here listening will definitely like attest to that. I think 2001 was kind of like I would say a golden year for NFTs, really. So I think like that's when I entered, and haven't looked back. So.
And Kaku, can you mention how like the building a fan base through Web3, maybe the tools that make that easier for you?
Yeah. So I wasn't done yet, but yes. So I think the cool thing about blockchain, and what I realized is, unlike any other, I would say, anything out there, um, Web3 is kind of like where you can really go direct to consumer. And I think that's what is the coolest thing about Web3 is like you can literally go and build a fan base around Web3, and because of blockchain technology, you can literally see like who is supporting, right? And that's when I also, like, back in 2021, like, learned about utilities. So basically, for someone, you know, supporting you, you can track who are your, like, most loyal fans, who are your biggest supporters, and give them utilities, give them benefits. That's how they explained to me at first. Um, and you can, there's just a lot of cool things about the blockchain technology that just makes it really dope.
Yeah, sweet. So perfect right there. I think it's it's changed. Like you said, it's the listener on the other end is not just a consumer, right? They're an active participant. It's kind of like we're all in this together and we're all pushing, right? But what's neat is actually practically on the infrastructure side, we can now do things like build fan reputation systems, right? Where I can prove as a fan, hey, I bought your first track, right? That's etched in this this ledger forever. I can record interactions that I had with you. That's how useful can that be going forward, right? To prove that you were there, to also not just prove that you were there, but prove that you're consistently showing up, prove that you've shown up to 8 shows. Well, here's your 8 hole punches and here's your free 9th show. So stuff like that becomes very easy to do for one artist, and it's all kind of just taken care of. You also have things like unlocking access through engagement. So like if you did go to those 8 shows and you get that 9th thing, maybe it's also unlocking a physical item, but that physical item is represented as a digital perk. And yeah, I live in another country and I get that digital item, and cool, I can redeem it at any point, but maybe at the same time, I know someone who's going to appreciate it more. Or maybe, hey, I'm just in a spot in my life where I don't need this thing and I can put it on the market, right? So the value that you're creating, the value that the systems are creating is really spectacular. Then you have things that are also really significant, like governance, like security for IP and content, by making sure that content is token gated, right? Where I can't get past this wall ever unless I have that actual key, right? That token to be able to get there. So a lot of, there's no answers here of like what is the best thing and what you should have as maybe provide your listeners so that they can be more active participants. But there's a lot of ways to take this. And the key term here, I think, that I really do love is voice and exit. As Kaku just mentioned, if you are listening to any artist, right, you are probably using a streaming service. We all understand it's not like, I think we've all heard it by now, that is not the most ethical thing, right? That it is not great for artists. We've heard it even, the past 5 minutes. So we don't really have a way to exit that. We could go listen to CDs and sure, but that's not convenient. And the dopamine of the, 90% of people who use music to relax versus the hurdle it would take to go find something else to be able to, actually appreciate this music and appreciate the people making it. It's not there, right? So you don't really have that voice to say, one, I want these artists to be the artists that I'm paying my $6.99 a month. I want this money to go to them. That is not the case. And you can't exit when you get upset that isn't the case. So there's a lot of practical applications in Web3 that allow that to be the case, where now I can have a direct interaction with this artist. And because I have that, even if there's a service I'm using to get to that artist, I can go right around directly to that artist if I choose. So that's something I think is quite significant across the board when it comes to blockchain, but also here in music. And Kaku, I'm going to pass it to you. We started on a little bit, but that limited fan artist interaction, right? how have you, how do you think, and maybe your personal story, that fan artist
Right.
interaction has been improved by
Right.
blockchain?
Yeah. So, there are, I would say, platforms that do exist within Web 2 right now that does kind of like this direct to artist approach. So, for example, I think the best one out there right now is Patreon, right? So, Patreon, you basically subscribe to your favorite artists, a Bandcamp as well, and you can release like, unreleased music or whatever, um, tickets or whatever it is that you want to give to your fan base. And it's all collected into I would say like one platform. But I think Web3 kind of takes it up to that next level. And I know you brought up the point, Devin, about token game. And I think that's something that makes Web3 completely different because of blockchain technology. Let's say you own this certain NFT by an artist, right? You can encode things within the NFT um, through the contract, through a smart contract that makes it like so that it's kind of even more hand free. So the moment you buy the NFTs, you own that kind of like access token. So you can essentially have that address and really airdrop anything to your fans anytime you want. And I think when I first entered the space and why a lot of artists entered the space back in 2021 is because we were lacking that artist interaction, and Web3 was just like a fresh take on it. And I know a lot of my friends who are really big artists too, bigger than me even, that entered the space. And we all like just bonded over how amazing Web3 was. And a lot of us are still like in this because we really believe in Web3 and the technology. And a lot of us built projects during the pandemic, really. And yeah, just like realize like how cool it was to, go on Discord and be able to talk to our fans and really like get to know them on a personal basis. And yeah, it's just a completely different world within Web3. I mean, that's why Snoop Dogg, like you said, Snoop Dogg into the space, like
Yep.
Marshmallow, like all these guys that that I respect dearly into the space. So it's definitely here to stay.
No, 100% Kaku. It is gone from that one-way street to now this very, conversational, interactive two-way street where
Yep.
yeah, right. It's you, Kaku, and
Can't
I'm
get
sure
to 3 without 2.
exactly. Well, yes, you cannot get to 3 without 2, right? So Web3 is very much built on top, and it should continue to be built on top. Look at Discord. That's a Web2 tool, right? But it has become, with the community mentality of even like NFTs that okay, we all have our different profile pictures, right? That's great. I can identify the people. I can go into a place and I can be with them, and then also, in our sense, when we're talking about music, that creator is in there. I can have a discussion with them. When did I last have a discussion with my favorite artists, right? When did I go to a Taylor Swift concert and be able to talk to Taylor? No, right? So being able to jump in from the comfort of your own home into a Discord group, being able to talk, pass ideas back and forth, maybe unlock different, whatever access levels, merch, tickets, maybe being able to hear tracks, right? At Kaku, you talk about all the time, like releasing tracks before they're actually you're done with them, so you can get some feedback on them. That build in public mentality that is not only really helpful for the artist in some cases, but really empowering for everyone who considers themselves a fan of that artist. So I know I've been there. I know many of you have been there, and yeah, it's really cool to see. So that's that. And I know we're coming up towards the end. So what now? We've talked about a lot. We've broken down what we believe are 3 of the most critical issues with the music industry and how Web3, again, maybe starts to remedy them. Just get the juices flowing and get the brain waves moving. But what now is where to learn about, what's going on, where to do your research, basically, what projects ideas are out there. And yeah, how do you unlock opportunities besides just doing your own research? How do you actually go and start? And we've compiled this. Learning. It's go where the artists are, right? Learn from them. Listen in. Formerly Twitter Spaces, now X.com Audio Spaces, is a great place to go and listen. There are 2 spaces I'm going to recommend right now. One is the NFT pop-up record shop. I think Abel is actually listening here today. He's one of the co-hosts. And that is a show that's on Tuesday, Fridays at 2 p.m. Eastern. they have spectacular discussion. They have artists on all the time. They are artists themselves. They have fans on. Like they are long spaces. Anyone can come up. It's a real community discussion about everything that's going on. Another space I really like is Inspo Radio, Tuesdays at midnight Eastern time. And that's, they have great guests on, actual like really, really talented Web3 artists who are here trying new things constantly. And then when they, that artist is not there and leaves, the second part of the show is them exploring what's minting out there. Where can I go to find a new track? Okay, what's it sound like? Should I mint it? Should I not? Like actually going out there and doing some of that discovery. So those are two great places to start. There are many other spaces, but Twitter or x.com is where to start. Now, project ideas. This is a strong recommendation of mine. And Kaku, I know you're going to agree, hopefully maybe make a closing statement around it, is Web3 should be built on top of Web 2 in some way. And what I mean by that is don't just create this layer 18, to like, it's out there and it's this very blockchainy thing that no one is going to understand or use. And I'm guilty of it all the time. Oh, I understand it, so it must work, right? But just make sure it is that other people understand it. And the way to help other people understand it is to introduce it in a way that they are familiar with. What we do, and I'll let Kaku talk more about it maybe, but what we do at SON is, we have heavy blockchain infrastructure backing up what we're doing, but it's in the form of a mobile app. And we're introducing it to people with headphones, something that they know and know how to use as one of the key pieces of how to use our ecosystem, right? So I would really suggest that, because in one, what I just said, make it easy for people. But two, there's also, you are going up against the most gate-kept Web 2 industry, pretty much, period, right?
Mm-hmm.
Heavily regulated, medical, whatever. It is, if you're a ticketing, royalties, even music discovery, you're going to be going up against people who have a lot of lawyers, right? So working with them rather than head on against them, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but that might be a better approach, right? That might be, hey, let me show you how this could be better because you're clearly struggling right now also. And in that time, be able to actually introduce Web3 instead of it being this, diametrically opposed. I'm going in and Web3 is the way. And so just consider the environment, right? And then lastly, unlocking opportunities. Again, use the existing platforms like Gala Music, like Sound XYZ, Royal Audio. Use them, actually try them yourself, and then jump in the Discord, meet the artists, meet the fans. Things will happen once you're actually putting yourself in the environment where you're having that communication. And if you have an idea before that and you want to just get feedback on it, that is the place to go. So that would be how I approach what's next if I were starting again. And Kaku, I don't know if you want to add on to anything or.
Yeah, definitely. Well, big shout out to Inspo Radio. I know there's a lot of fans of Inspo Radio on YouTube.
Yeah.
I don't like YouTube comments right now. So shout out to Chico, Minty, and Bobby running that. Actually, they had a really good show yesterday. So, yeah. Anyway,
I see a lot of people on the YouTube comments too, shouting it out as well.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, and then, talking about the project ideas as well. So I think like Devin, you kind of did a great job touching up on it a little bit, but basically I'm gonna go further in depth about that. I think when I first initially wanted to come up with an idea for a project, I knew that it had to be in music, it had to be in audio. It just wouldn't be natural, right? Otherwise, so I am a DJ, I'm a producer. So, and I think like right when I was entering space, there was a project called Artifact, obviously still exists today, and they were acquired by Nike, right? And because I was a sneakerhead, it was the first project that I really, really like wanted to kind of dive into because they were doing these digital sneakers that you can actually redeem for the physical versions, and I was like, wow, this is genius, And if you own the CryptoPunk, you can customize it, kind of like how Nike does it for the Nike ID. So I was like, man, this just kind of like started like turning my brain a little bit. So I was like, man, what if I could, create like any sort of audio product um, where, we can just add blockchain technology onto it. And I think that was initially when I kind of had like the eureka moment, and I reached out to David, basically our CEO now, our partner. Yeah, and I think Devin, you said something that I'm gonna really want to talk further on. Um, something like music, everybody understands music, right? Everybody understands. Like I don't know anyone in the world that doesn't listen to music. So something like this, where it's easily understood by Web2, the Web2 audience, you don't have to be in Web3 to essentially understand what sound, right? But then you can add in um, basically different elements of Web3 without people really realizing they're using blockchain technology. I think that's when you really are going to capture a different kind of audience, right? And I think that's what I love about Sound is that I've had people in Web3, I've had people in Web2 listen to our product, and they're just blown away. And when I tell them further about what we're trying to build here, yeah, obviously some people who don't get blockchain, they're like, it takes a little bit of time for them to understand, but for the most part, they're just like, wow, this is amazing. Like, when can we use this platform? So I think that's why we're so passionate about Sound. We're not just the headphone. I keep saying to everyone, we're an experience company. That's what we're trying to build. We're trying to make experiences for our consumers, for the artists that work with us, easier, better, and yeah, something that people have never really experienced before. But make it easy, because I know that sometimes Web3 is complicated, and it is hard for me to explain this to some of my musician friends. So I think we're trying to figure that out and become like that real bridge between Web2 and Web3. That's what we're trying to do. So when you're coming up with a project idea, don't overcomplicate it. If you can't explain this in like your project in 1 minute to a normie, I personally think it's you don't have something that can be easily adapted.
Yeah. Thanks, Kaku.
Yeah, and a couple of other steps for what's next. So I shared in our comments on YouTube, if anybody wants to get involved in the conversation and actually have mentorship to build solutions to problems like these, like Kaku and Devin mentioned in the music industry, I'm going to go ahead and share this link here. If you go to discord.gg/UETH, come hop in the general chat, come say hi. And I'm also going to share the link for Sound's Discord as well and share that on the screen right now. Yeah, so hop in the Discord. And like Devin was mentioning, I mean, we are entering an era where accessibility to connect with your favorite artist and musician is so much easier, right? Especially with Web3 culture, hop into a Discord, say hi, get involved in the community. And I just want to commend Sound for building such a robust and passionate community. Just looking through the comments that are coming on YouTube, there's so many people that are showing up just in numbers to support today. And it's really exciting to see. And that's the power of Web3, right? Like we all have this borderless connection around the world that's more accessible and allows us to connect. Thank you, Devin. Thank you, Kaku, for taking us through the presentation. I do want to shift to more of a collaborative discussion here and kind of brainstorm. Like before we open up for the Q&A, we have some student with us today that'll be coming up. But yeah, I'd really like to just brainstorm really quick, like what kind of projects can be built for solutions or for problems like these? And yeah, how would you encourage students to think about building solutions?
Well, I think it was said a bit in those next steps. Do your research, right? Do your research and do your research. Make sure you have something that will have, like what Kaku said, actual product market fit. We hear these buzzwords all the time. It does actually matter. And getting people you trust who are also in the industry to bounce ideas off them. Again, that's it. And that is so easy to do by what you just said, Rachel. Jump in a Discord, talk to people. People love to come up with ideas. There are no shortage of ideas, right? Or shortage of ideas. But to actually then start to execute on it and make sure it does have product market fit, that's that same audience. Go back to them, say, hey guys, what do we think of this? Building in public is spectacular. It's something you're really encouraged to do almost in Web3, almost unanimously. People are about it. And we've done that with not only with our blockchain assets, but with our hardware, right? We sent out test type, like engineering prototypes, which you would usually only keep for your internal team, you'd test and whatever. But we sent 300 out across 22 countries. We got feedback that way. We built, now we're shipping a far superior product than we would have otherwise had to begin with, right? And so that is, I would really encourage that, is to use the communities out there to help you, because everyone's going to be happy. Everyone's going to enjoy it.
Yeah, and another thing I wanted to mention to both of you too is the topic of hardware, right? It doesn't seem like that's a really common path for folks to take in the Web3 space. So I'm curious to hear a little bit more about what inspired you all to get into building hardware and how you've bridged that for listeners in Web3.
Well, Kaku, you worked in hardware.
Well, look, there are only a few projects out there that exist that's successfully done anything with any physical products, really. I wouldn't even call it hardware, right? I mean, there's Pudgy Penguins with their toys. They're doing a spectacular job over there. And obviously Azuki, Bored Apes, they're doing merchandise, right? But that's just for their community, right? Not really building a business around it. And also Artifact. Artifact is probably the closest, I would say, to us, because they are obviously partnered with Nike. I mean, they're gonna do some incredible things over there. But I think in terms of complexity, we are the most complex. I mean, building hardware, like audio hardware, it's not easy. It is very complicated. It's as Devin has learned over the past 3 years, it is a super insane, I would say, a journey to get here. At least, we're and I'm so proud that we're about to ship our final units to our community. It's already happening right now, currently, and it's been amazing, And I think I think I kind of mentioned on this earlier. I just always knew I had to do something with audio, and luckily, I've been friends with David for a long time, and he was really interested in blockchain at that time because I was kind of explaining what physicals were, and I was like, man, there is a necessity for something like this in this industry, and I know for sure I can build a community around it, and I think the coolest thing about our community, shout out to the Sound community. I see you guys on YouTube, the comments, but they're music, audio enthusiasts. There's so many people in our community who are either professionals, obviously in the art world, digital art world, or actual musicians, producers like me, and so we're able to build a community just based around that. The idea of like, hey, you know what? We don't want crap audio. We want to hear audio that's great, amazing, that's spectacular, that can also experience, you can experience spatial audio. That's another thing that I think Sound is best at doing. When you're listening to music, it just sounds live. It sounds like you're there, 360. We call it hyper reality audio, right? And so there's a lot of things that we can do here that no one else can in the world, and like you said, Devin, I firmly believe we couldn't have gotten to this point without our community. I think community feedback was so vital for the success of Sound. There's literally things in this product that wouldn't have been added unless we had a community, Discord, talking about it, and bouncing ideas. Even I would say, Devin, even on the blockchain node too, right? There's a lot of smart people. There's a lot of engineers, like in our community that definitely we bounced off ideas. So I think it's been a dope journey so far. I mean, look, I can't say that I know everything about blockchain. Devin is my blockchain sensei. I ask him everything that I need to know about blockchain. But what I know is I'm just a student here. Even though I'm a founder of this company, I'm still learning things every day from our community, from everybody here in Web3. So it's been like I said, an amazing journey so far. But this is just the beginning for us.
Yeah, and something I will say, a couple of things here. It is a very unique thing that you've built, Kaku and Devin. I do not know a project doing everything at the capacity you're all doing, like, implementing blockchain, the strong community, the hardware, even on the art side too. Like, I've done spaces with you, Devin, with Cro-Magnus as well. We haven't really touched on how this empowers creatives and artists too, outside of the realm of music. So if you want to touch on that, we can talk on that for a bit before we open up the Q&A.
Sure. Yeah, I touched on a little bit, I think, on point number 2 is, this unlocking access, right? By doing on-chain things, right? Or doing things that are reflected on-chain that then unlock that. So we obviously introduce what we're doing to you in the form of, here are headphones, listen to them. Oh, do they sound better than anything else? Great. Now here's a little bit more, right? And once we have a mobile app in the App Store, iOS, Google Play, you download it. And that's where this device starts to connect with blockchain assets and blockchain infrastructure. So yeah, you have Cro-Magnus, is a great example. He has done absolutely fantastic work with the original collection we had, which was, again, just free, come aboard. Like we want to start building this. But now we're at a point where we're actually launching this, which has been planned for a very long time, this avatar, right? And this avatar is just like a PFP style. We all know it in the Web3 world. We know what they are, but what it's built on is a really great standard, proposed standard right now that will allow that PFP, this avatar, to actually be an identity, right? So now within the app, I can have my identity, and that identity actually can own other assets, like Ethereum assets. It can own Ether, it can own a Bored Ape or a Zuki, right? And it can also have on-chain reputation start to grow with it. And so as you listen across your device, you start to unlock things. You can then also, because this identity, it can own things. You can throw different accessories in it, like a new shirt that has the band's name across it, and you can throw that shirt on your avatar. Well, okay, now a Web2 person is going to say, okay, I can see this shirt that has a band name, and it gets me XYZ. I put it on my avatar, and I unlock XYZ. What do I unlock? Well, X is tickets to their show. Maybe it's virtual, so I can actually grow my global audience, right, with a low barrier to entry for financially and like just access-wise. And then also maybe you ship some merch to you as Y, and Z is, hey, you get to come into our group chat and hear the pre-release versions of the songs we're working on that we're going to debut at the show, right? So you be able, it's everything we just talked about there, but done in a very comfortable way. That's on an app with headphones, right? That it's all there. It's a nice package. So that's what we're building there. And yeah, you got Cro-Magnus making these avatars also in public, right? Where these traits are not, obviously he has his accessories that he's made, but we lean on our community every week, every Thursday. We say, hey, you're up, person, come up with an accessory idea. And it's an awesome experience. We get to highlight that person from the community. We get to have this live draw session. We get to see Crow's process. And at the end of it, we've not seen like the final versions that he's doing of these, but we've seen close to final ones. And it's like, wow, my idea just came to life. And now that also that accessory can represent, if I want to give something back. Maybe I wrote a book, right? And I want to give that book to everyone who owns my accessory, right? I can just have that be the case. I don't need to go off and make a whole NFT project. Maybe I made a song, right? Same thing. I can distribute it through this accessory, and I just don't need to go do all the heavy lifting. So that's what we're building as a platform for people to come in and actually share, build community, interact with each other, and do it all through an audio medium.
Awesome. Well, it really sounds like you have built such a robust and unique community, products, and this just serves so many different groups of people, right? The listeners, the artists, the musicians. And I hope that people listening today, and especially our student members of the University of Ethereum, that this inspires you to think of how you can also build real world problems or real world solutions to problems with blockchain technology. Yeah, I want to take a moment to invite one of our student members up to the stage who has a question today. We have our chapter lead from Latam. We have Tomas. I'm going to be adding up to the stage. And then we'll wrap up and go over the closing thoughts. What's going on, Tomas?
Hi, Devin. Hi, Kaku. Hi, Rachel. Thank you so much for being here. It was very, very insightful what you guys have it done. The question that I have basically is like, I can understand where you came from, but so what is the future? How do you think the Sound community is going to be? It's going to be based around hardware. It's going to be on music events. It's going to be helping musicians. What do you think the roadmap is?
So, I'd like to say all of the above because this product right here is pretty much think of it as an access token. It is your key to everything that we are building, whether it's a music platform, whether it's live shows, whether it's just collecting the sound and the avatars as well, right? Where we have this thing called the Soundscape. It's already an existing app, but we have a huge roadmap for building out the Soundscape to become what it actually is. Because right now, the Soundscape, you can control the EQ, right? You can customize the gesture controls. You can customize the lights, but that's just the tip of the iceberg for us. There's so much that we're actually trying to build. So I guess like for our community, they were here with us, riding with us from day one. I mean, there are OGs, but our idea is to really help, push our product and push the ecosystem to others. Like I said earlier, we're trying to be a bridge for Web 2 and Web 3, and that's exactly what the roadmap is going to be. I think if we want to succeed as any music entity, there's no way that we can just focus on Web 3. I'm sorry to tell you, but the community just does not exist yet. So we have to figure out a way where we can attract more of that Web 2 audience to understand what we're building. And this is exactly why I've said it again, and I'm going to reiterate that Son is a perfect product for that. Because I'm telling you, every time I go out, I have this around my neck. People ask me, "Hey, what is this?" And I just literally have them pop this in. They listen to their favorite music. It's done. I don't even talk about blockchain. And I think the more that they start to research on their own, half of them are interested in blockchain. Half of them are interested in technology. And that's the beauty of Sound. So I hope that answered your question a little bit. Yeah.
Thank
Devin,
you
do
so
you
much.
have anything to add? Yeah.
I do. Crushed it.
Yeah, thank you, Tomas, for your question. Yeah, I actually have a question just to clarify for our listeners and student members today. Devin or Kaku, either of you can take this one. Could you explain why someone might want to soul bind their NFT with their Sound NFT?
Yes, this was an earlier step we did. This is not something that would you would do much anymore for what you're talking about. But yeah, we gave away 10,000 of these NFTs originally for at the start, a year and a half ago. And the point of that was get on in, come on in, hold one of these things, be part of the community, be part of what we're building, right? And over time, those who hold this thing are going to be rewarded in various ways, right? So it's very important, it's significant. But if you wanted to kind of, be that early subscriber, that early supporter who is going to get a lot more, and very clearly a lot more, you could do something basically like subscribe, and you could take that NFT and you could lock it in your wallet. It's called soul binding, right? It was Vitalik's paper in January of 2022. I think he talks about soulbound governance, which is still really, really significant paper, and you should all check it out. But that's where the idea came from, is to have this asset, lock it in your wallet. Now we can provably tell that wallet is who we need to be sending these different, rewards to, or different physical items to. Now we use soul binding for, if you have one of these, it'll start in digital form. And if you actually want to redeem it, you'll go through a two-step redemption process, pretty simple. The first step is soul binding this to your wallet. So you soul bind that digital asset. Now it's like an on-chain receipt, and we can use that receipt to generate a single-use discount code for our store, right? So that is, yes, as James says in the audience, this is the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I also am seeing the Sound Discord. It looks like there was a prompt for people who want to ask some questions. So yeah, I can see our questions coming in our comments coming in on YouTube. If anybody wants to ask a question today to either Devin or Kaku, I welcome you to ask questions during this time. And yeah, if not, we can start going over some final thoughts. Devin and Kaku, if you just want to share like parting words of wisdom for anybody listening today, or for our student members, feel free.
Devin, you can take it away first. Go ahead, since you're on the roll.
Okay, yeah, sounds good. Parting word of wisdom. We've said a lot here, and I do just want to double down on build two things. Build what you're building. Yes, build it on top of Web 2, but don't build your castle on someone else's sand, right? Don't build your trading route on someone else's land. You will still need to, if you want to do this, you're going to have to do it yourself. People will help you. Your community will be there to help you, but really be cautious of where you build things, but still make sure it is approachable. Make sure it's still easy to get to. A mobile app, great. Progressive web apps, awesome way. I don't know how long Apple will let them be in existence on the iOS side, but they are fantastic ways to easily spin up apps and have a lot of blockchain infrastructure built in without any kind of approval process, whatever. And that way, again, you're not built on someone else's sand. So that would be my parting word of advice is that build, but also build in a way that's going to, be easy for more people to come in and appreciate.
Yeah, and I think my closing remarks. Yeah, go ahead, Rachel. Sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, before we go into the parting words of wisdom, Kaku, I do have a question from someone. We got Jacob here in the comments. To Kaku, Jacob is wondering how you got the name Kaku Berry.
Oh man, you know what's funny is I think I've answered this like 100 times to Jacob, and this is just his thing. I don't know, but anyway,
we love
Kaku's
Jacob.
really my
It's
name.
okay.
Yeah, I was kidding. Kaku's my last name. Barry, it's a secret how I got that. I'll tell you guys another time. But yeah, so closing comments. Yeah, I think I guess the only suggestion that I have is build things out of passion. I think when I make music, when I DJ, like it's something that I love to do. Sound is the same. It's been a pleasure working with everybody that I've been building Sound with the past couple of years. It's been amazing, and never be afraid to learn. I think I said this about earlier as well. Like I'm always learning, man. Like there's no way that I can sit here and say I know everything about blockchain, like I said, or everything about the music industry. I don't know. I'm always learning new things every day. So don't be afraid to ask questions and elevate your mind. I think in life you're just gonna have to do that as you move on and to progress, become a better human being. So just never be afraid to ask for help. And I think our community is a testament to that. Like I ask questions, like Abel's here, right? Shout out Abel. I ask Abel questions all the time. Like I'm a different kind of producer. Abel is a spectacular producer, and we have a project that we've been working on the past couple months that I've been kind of slowly leaking on Twitter a little bit, but can't really say it yet. But we've been working on something awesome, and to be able to collaborate with somebody within your community, right? It's something that I've dreamt about, really. And the fact that we were able to build this out of passion, man, there's nothing better than that, because this little idea I had in my head almost 3 years ago became this. It's incredible. So just I guess my closing remark is chase your dreams, man. That's all I can say. Just never give up.
Awesome. Well, yeah, we are wrapping up a bit earlier here. I guess I will ask one more question before we wrap up today. Is there anything coming up in 2024 that you're both excited about on the roadmap for Sound?
Yeah. Are you asking for alpha?
I mean, if you wanna spill some tea, go ahead.
No, I'm really excited for what Kaku just alluded to with what Abel has been working on with us. And I think there's some technology built into that also leads into some other realms of audio that are not just music that, is going to change the game is an understatement, because what does it mean? And also it's going to do more than that. But no, you're not getting any secrets from me. Sorry, Rachel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, things to look forward to. So much to look forward to. I think back last month, you guys probably saw that the founding team was in Japan, right, with our partners UETH. So, I mean, if that is kind of like a little foreshadowing of what's to come, not just in Japan, not just with UETH, but other partnerships, that's all I can really say right now. But there's exciting things going down behind the scenes that I think a lot of our community members are going to get super hyped about. We've been secretly like really building these partnerships out. Yeah, like it's been a good, and I know Flu, you're here too. We've all been a part of it, just bringing our own connections into the project. Yeah, so it's really exciting times. And the fact is we have our final units literally shipping out like right now, you know, and that's what I think we're the most excited about. Like we're literally going to have, you know, people in our community, but also people like that's just into the community, experience sound, like, you know, the final product for the first time. I think that's what we're really excited about, because once that's out in the world, people listen to this, man, that's just opening the doors right there, you know. And it took us 3 years of preparation. Well, a lot of people don't know this, but before even Devin came on board, you know, back in 2021, I was already starting the production process then, because I already knew that if I got DL involved, like, okay, we're gonna do an audio product, we're gonna do headphones, right? And I know how long that process takes. I used to be in manufacturing, so I know. So I knew that if I didn't start this process 3 years ago, there's no way we'll be delivering these units out right now. And you know, this project has been self-funded for the most part. We don't have a VC, nothing. Everything has been self-funded by ourselves, our friends and family, and the fact that we did this in honestly 2.5 years is an achievement of its own. So we're definitely going to be popping some champagne this week together or something virtually. So it's really good times right now.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you both so much for coming on today. I hope if you're listening that you take away from this and just think about how you can solve real world problems through using blockchain technology. I encourage everybody to check out SonSound on Twitter and also join our Discord as well. discord.gg/UETH. Get involved in the conversation. We'll be spending the next week recapping this workshop and working with our students and anybody that wants to come in the Discord and start thinking about how you can apply what you've learned today. So yeah, any final resources or calls to action you guys want to direct our listeners to today, or we're good to wrap up?
Good to wrap up. Rachel, you're an icon. I appreciate you so much. Thanks for having us on.
Thank you so much, Devin. And yeah, by the way, another little bit, I don't know if this is alpha or not, but we are hosting a major conference in Tokyo next year. Our team is putting on EdCon. So Kaku, I know you're from Tokyo. So if anybody happens to be out there from the San community, we would love to have you come to EdCon as well.
Definitely. Well, I live in Bali now, but yes, I think we'll be going to Japan a lot more. So hopefully we're there at the same time. We'll definitely come and support Rachel. Yeah. And thanks for doing this. I think what you're doing is awesome. I think this was a really awesome, great talk, and I think our community definitely had fun, especially Jacob trying to get secrets of my origins, you know, out into the world. So,
Jacob.
Awesome. Well, thank you both so much. We really appreciate you joining, and for everybody that tuned in, thank you so much. And yeah, we'll see you on the next workshop next week. Bye, everybody.
Thank you. See you, everyone.
Thanks, guys.